Tonight on Dice to Pixels, we have an exciting announcement. We've gotten rid of Chad, and simultaneously we're announcing our new meat delivery service. So if you are not law enforcement and would like some chipped meat, we can ship it to you right away.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm not going to tell him about this afterwards. And so when he puts on the episode, he'll
Absolutely.
get a lovely surprise.
Chad is, of course, still with us, but he is sick tonight. So Sarah and I are recording just the two of us. And we're going to talk about these new gaming tables that you found.
Yes. I was scrolling on Instagram today, as I do, and or no, wait, was that? Doesn't matter where I was. I was scrolling someplace,
I think you sent me to Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, and it was this family that I guess does like board game reviews. They were showing off their gaming coffee table made by this company called oh my gosh, I can't say.
Rathskellers, which is the family name, presumably.
Yes, yeah. It is a family company that's been making furniture since 1958, and they have a bunch of gaming tables. The one that I saw specifically was the Garrison, and it's their coffee table.
Yeah.
And it has like the sunken inlay and like the sliding rack thing on the side. I can't think of what it's called.
It has the
rail system. There we go. Yeah.
A similar in nature to what you would expect from Wormwood or really any gaming table.
Mm-hmm.
It looks pretty cool. It's got like some drawers and stuff in it, which is nice.
Yeah, so you can like store the stuff for the rail system in there.
Yeah.
As well as gaming tools.
They didn't show off any taco holders. So
no.
But they do have cup holders.
Yes.
Well, and that big tray thing, that could be taco.
Yeah, there was the one tray where for like a tablet, you could set that on. It was an angled thing.
Hold tacos,
yeah, that would hold tacos.
Oh, good. There's a reason I'm talking about tacos. I'll get to it later. I actually left it upstairs, but I'll run and get it later on in the episode. But I actually, the hexagon, the hive, is interesting to me. Because it's a hexagonal table, which some people... A lot of people sort of hexagonal table doesn't really work. It's not the best. And that's true for anything you want to not just be a game table. But depending on, I'm going to look into this a little bit. I assume it's way more than I'm willing to spend. And since I'm booting up a proper wood shop and everything, I'll probably just end up making it. But a hexagonal table for what we do here, especially with the three of us in the podcast, would be perfect.
Yes.
So I was interested in that because it looks really nice.
It does. I like the base system for it.
It's not sort of like a jewel setting.
Yeah. It's really neat. Rather than like just the legs or just like a solid pedestal in the center. It's like it's like angled inward and there's a little shelf underneath, and that's really cool looking. I like that.
These guys seem to do really nice stuff. I'm gonna look into it more. Like I said, given that I do woodworking, I always balk at the price. Okay, this says starting from 4,000. I'm assuming that's euros,
probably, because they are made in Greece.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a euro. Let me just, euro. Yeah. So 4,000 euros for the hex table, it looks like. Which that's on par with what I think Wormwood typically goes for. And honestly, these look like they're probably higher quality from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Wormwood kind of went off a little bit of a cliff when they went to we're going to sell 8 billion tables a day sort of thing.
Yeah.
I likely won't buy anything from these guys because they're in Greece and shipping alone would be a nightmare. But I do like their tables. They're super cool.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we do have a few people that see us and listen to us in Europe. So there's your option.
I think there was even at least one person from Greece. So there you go.
There you go.
Maybe it's
them. Oh.
I really like the idea of game tables. I'm always curious what people think of gaming tables in general, because to me it's a no-brainer. The only reason I don't have one is because I didn't feel like spending $10,000-$12,000 on one, and I haven't had the time to just build one of my own yet.
Yeah,
but I will. Like, it's a foregone conclusion. Danielle and I both agree There's no reason not to have a gaming table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious whether most people don't have one just because like the cost, or whether people are like, no, I actually don't want it.
I think so. 3 years ago, it would have been, oh, I don't want that. I don't need it. I don't really play that many board games. But Chad and I have been getting more and more into board games more.
Yeah.
And I think with the versatility, especially with like the sunken in, that you can use it as your dining table or coffee table.
Yeah,
and then keep stuff in it at the same time.
Yeah, that's the
I
important
love
part.
puzzles. I've always loved puzzles.
Right.
I don't have room for puzzles in our house to keep it going someplace that's not going to be walked on by cats or eaten on by us at dinner time.
Yeah. Well, and so that's kind of my thing too. There's various things that we do. Like we would do more Lego stuff too.
Yes.
I converted our IKEA dining table to a really, really crappy version of a gaming table, so that we could do like a puzzle in it, and we could do Lego and stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved it, but it was a very like ghetto conversion. It wasn't a good one. So a proper one I would love. And even Danielle's like needlepoint stuff, cross stitch or whatever you call it. There's just so many things. Like we also have cats. All of us here at Dice to Pixels have cats.
In case you couldn't tell.
There's just, it doesn't have to be for gaming, right? Like having a vault is so cool. Now, I have always adored the lifting mechanism from the what's the
I don't know what the company is, but I'm like picturing it in my head.
It's the Wormwood, but I can't remember what the table is called. Doesn't matter. Prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
I've always adored that because then you get the best of both worlds. It's a vault that can hold stuff, but also you can lift it up so that you're not, because the one problem I have with gaming tables is you gotta like lean on it. It's a little weird. But with a lifting mechanism, come on now. So but yeah, I've always just kind of assumed that it's a price thing, which is totally reasonable. Any gaming table is expensive, but I know a few people that I've talked to have been like, no, I wouldn't want that. It's like, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure I understand why.
Are they board gamers or tabletop gamers too?
No, for the most part, they're not. But like the question that I had posed to them was sort of all things being equal. Because my statement, this was like part of a larger conversation. And basically I made the statement like all tables should just be board game tables. They should have vaults in them.
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer. And they were like, I wouldn't want that. And I was kind of, wait, really? That's weird.
Because if nothing else, you could store, well, like, I know we have my parents have a chest thing of fine silverware. It never gets used. It's taking up space someplace. Yeah. You could store that in there.
Store your placemats or like what it's, I understand the cost aspect.
Oh, but like, but if it was the standard. If it was like, the standard.
I was very interested by that response, was like, no, I wouldn't want that. And I'm like, are you just sort of knee-jerk reactioning here, or is this like a legitimate thing? So I'd be curious if anyone in the comments or otherwise is, no, I agree, I wouldn't want one. But for me, cost aside, I'm like, it's a fucking no-brainer. That's just extra storage. Like, it's not like you're using the underside of your table. So... and anyone with pets, like, come on, it's a place that you can just put stuff away. So,
because and like my parents aren't big board gamers, but they play a ton of card games, and then we play Mexican Train, which involves dominoes, and they have a cathedral ceiling kitchen and living room, and so everything echoes in there. And my dad and I both fidget a lot, especially with the dominoes, and he especially taps them on the table. And after a while, especially when I start getting tired, it irritates me and rings in my head. So my mom actually went out and bought a huge chunk of felt just to put it on the table, just so I would not get mad when we're playing all together.
I get it.
And so that's another circumstance where it'd be good. Like if it's just to cool down noises for anyone that might be neurodivergent in that way, where well, and just like
if you use your dining room table for anything that isn't food, I feel like almost everything would be improved
Yeah.
by the option of having a game vault. You don't need to have one, but the option of having one. Setting up after dinner snacks, and you just pop the table off, and it's like, oh, cool, it's already there. I don't have to fuck around
Surprise.
with it. It's very interesting to me that there were people that, at least on the surface.
Yeah.
Now, I think that was just a knee-jerk reaction, like, well, no, I don't like the wormwood style of table, so no, I don't want that.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, if your existing table just had a vault in it, wouldn't that be better? I think it would. So,
I mean, if you think about it, there's even like preschool and kindergarten play tables.
Yeah. And like the lining, like, this is something that I feel like Wormwood has really missed an opportunity on, because they've been doing this for years and years and years. And Wormwood is not by any means the only company. I know this, but they are one of the most popular. They've never done like a Lego insert. They've never done, like, why not? Especially with like the coffee table.
Yeah, especially the coffee table.
Go and get the big Lego bases and like drop those suckers in. That seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that, the table costs whatever, $2,000, and are you going to give your kids a $2,000 table to ruin? That's a separate issue.
Yes, but
again, cost aside. But yeah, these guys look great. I'm very interested in what they're doing. Gonna keep an eye on them, but I realistically won't be ordering one, because holy damn.
Yep, the shipping would be insanity
if they $10,000.
Even if they shipped over this way.
Yeah, it would not be cheap. So
I'm actually looking at the which one am I looking at here? The altar table, and like, that's a chonky, heavy table. Like, you look at that table, I normally would not think of this table as a gaming table in any way.
Yeah, because it's got old school castle-y table.
Yeah, and it's got the two pedestals with the bar in the middle, and it's like it's gonna fucking last.
That's the kind of table that I would want to build for, like, if we ever manage to make any actual like money doing this and turn it into a thing. That would be like the centerpiece of the game room. Yeah. Because back in the day, and I don't think they even do this anymore, but at one point the Wormwood guys had sort of it was like a standing height table, and it was like really.
I remember that. It was one of their first ones.
Yeah, it was one of the first ones, and it just looked imposing. It was like, that's what you put in your house when you have a dedicated game room, and that room doesn't get used for anything else. That's the table. This gives me those vibes. Or if you live in the castle.
Yes. They have I know with one of the things that Wormwood was toting on their last one was like the ability to, or I think it was Wormwood, where it was the level up system for the one thing where you could have your computer screen higher. Yes. This one has an insert that goes downward.
I see that.
Which I actually like better.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Because for someone like me, who is short as hell, anything higher, I'm not going to be able to see anyone.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't ever do there was Kickstarters that I talked about this on the podcast ages ago. There are like 3D printable
I remember that.
risers that turn your existing table into like a gaming table. And they're cool, and some of them are very well made, but for anyone who's on the shorter side, for me, it's no problem, because you add 6 inches to the table, and I'm like, hey, it's the right height now. But for most people, they're like, and like my wife, you are taller than Danielle, I think.
Not even by much, though.
No, but like Danielle's short. There's like a 2 fucking foot gap between the two of us or something stupid. So that would be a total non-starter for her. We'd have to get her a booster seat to play at the table. So I agree. Like, the adding height never seems like the right choice to me. I've noticed that with like the player decks and stuff with the Wormwood stuff. Not all of them, but some of them sit above the edge, and I'm like, I'm not sure about that.
No.
These guys seem to do below, like even the drawer on the altar that they show there. It's under, which is the right choice. Like it's a slide out drawer that's under the table. It's like, that seems like the better choice. So they seem to have thought things through a lot. Yeah. If you're in Europe and you're in the market for a gaming table, I'd be looking at this real hard.
Yep.
Their prices seem, I mean, they're gaming tables. They're expensive, but they honestly seem pretty decent. So,
I mean, yeah, for what you're getting, you're getting heirloom quality. It looks like
it certainly looks that way. I mean, photos can lie, but it certainly looks like they're pretty kick-ass tables.
Yeah.
So, So, anyways, that's super fun. We'll drop a link in the description for anyone who cares. I'll see if I can dig up a link to the one printable table thing that I linked ages ago, because it was really cool. I thought it was neat, but just adding the height doesn't really work. Now, for a coffee table, adding the height might be okay, depending on things. Yes. But for a dining table, adding that much height is a problem. So, yeah. Cool. So, did we want to let's talk about this this portal bullshit, because I'm gonna be angry about it.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Portal, the PS5 Portal, is the new game controller with the display in the middle. It's for remote gaming. They claim over the internet too, but really I think it's for like in-home remote playing. Scalpers are already buying them all and reselling them at 1.5 to 2 times the price.
Yeah.
And, fucking assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's sold out because of scalpers right now.
Yeah. So I say assholes, and I mean that in two ways, and this will pair up with the Steam story. The scalpers are assholes. That's not controversial. No. Everybody hates scalpers. But also, how the fuck has a company like Sony not fixed this problem by now?
Because they don't care.
Wow, right. They're assholes.
Yes.
It is not that hard to at least make it difficult for scalpers. And in the case of a Portal, especially the PS Portal, this is a device that you cannot use without a PSN account.
Yeah.
Can't be done.
Yeah.
So make the fucking people log into their PSN accounts
and have to buy it. Yeah.
And you can only buy it if your account is more than a year old or whatever to start with. And then once everybody's bought one, you can open it up more. Now, I'm not saying that scalpers might have some PSN accounts, but it's going to be a fucking start.
Yes. Yeah.
So, which actually, I didn't even read this Steam full disclosure. I just threw the link in the doc, but I believe that's essentially what Steam is doing.
Yeah, so there's a paragraph right at the end that says Valve is trying to minimize this with the new OLED Steam Deck, which requires a Steam account in good standing that's made a purchase on the store before November 1st to pre-order.
Come on.
That's simple. That's so simple.
Yeah. Like, I understand for new consoles, like, again, the Steam Deck, you can't use it with a Steam account. So why the hell not? And I understand that, like, the PS5, you maybe can't do that. Although I would still argue that, treat your loyal customers better.
Yep.
But the Portal, you cannot use it without a PSN account.
Yeah.
That's how it, as far as I know, at least, that's how it connects to your PlayStation. So it's a brick without a PSN account.
Yeah.
So why the fuck aren't they doing it? Well,
it's
too late now anyway.
Yeah, they probably so with the PlayStation 5, it was like there was a scarcity of it because of all the scalpers, and then there was the chip issues. Maybe they're hoping for the same response with the Portal, because everyone wanted a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, drum up like almost artificial scarcity. Yeah,
yes.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. Yep. Because I don't think, and Chad even pointed it out when he was looking at, I don't know if it was this article or a different one, about how they were selling like hotcakes. He's like, do people even realize that it's not it's not like a Steam Deck or a Switch. It's not that it has to be connected. Like it's
Yeah, I wonder about that. Because if you read, it's
mm-hmm.
incredibly clear.
Yeah.
But we know how well people read. So
people read?
I
What?
wouldn't be shocked if there's going to be a whole bunch of people opening their Christmas gift.
What it'll be is kids opening their Christmas gifts.
Exactly. And they'll be like, oh, wait, this
Yeah.
is useless.
Yeah. And then parents will be all pissed off.
Yeah.
But
well,
just read the package.
And grandparents, I suspect, is going to be, I mean, it's going to be both, but this is the sort of thing that like grandparents would definitely, I got you the new Xbox controller. It's like,
yeah, because it's such a reasonable price for something that looks like that. So they won't know unless they know.
But yeah, I suspect that will be a source of some Christmas disappointment.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yep.
I'm just curious. I'm not buying one. I keep telling myself I'm not buying one for so many reasons. I'm not buying one, but there's a chance I'm going to buy one. I really want to know if they fixed it, if it actually works well, because it never used to. I mean, I've harped on this, and honestly, Steam's been getting better. The Steam Remote Play is actually getting a bit better. But PS Remote Play, that's what it's called. PlayStation Remote Play. It was always worse than Steam. And I don't think that will have changed. So we'll see.
I don't know.
I'd love to know.
Inevitably, one of us will know someone that has gotten one.
I'm hoping on that.
Yeah.
This is the sort of thing where I kind of wish Blockbuster still existed, because they would probably rent these.
Yes.
Yeah. You could just go and rent one, which I should look. Maybe EB Games does that or something. I don't know.
There's got to be someone that does something like that.
You would think. Yeah.
If not, business opportunity.
Yeah. I can be the next Blockbuster. Yeah. So I'll look into that, because I would happily rent one for a few days and piss about with it. But yeah, fucking scalpers. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Valve's doing it right, because that's what I would do. Like if I was releasing a new product that requires you to have an account, I'm going to make you sign into your account to order it, at least for the first wave.
It's like Valve actually pays attention what goes on in the market.
Right.
And tries and compensates for it.
Yeah.
What?
Well, and in fairness, Sony doesn't have to, Sony doesn't need to get a foothold in the market.
No.
So they can be dicks, and they are being dicks, because to your point, this way more people are, I couldn't get one, damn it.
Yeah.
With the Steam Deck, it's in their best interest that everyone who wants one gets one, and nobody who doesn't want one gets one, because it gets them better press and better hype. So,
well, even when the first generation, the very, very first Steam Decks were coming out, and just like the pre-orders sold out so fast, they know that it's a wanted item.
Right.
The OLED might be a little bit different now, but people will want the upgrade, especially if they had the original one. Maybe they've played the hell out of everything and it's getting worn down.
Yeah, and I know a few people who were like, I'm not going to get it because it doesn't seem quite there for me yet. And I feel like this will tip the scales for a handful of people at least.
Yep.
So I think they'll sell all that they need to very, very quickly. And I think it's great that they are doing it properly, because F you, Sony. I mean, only kind of. It's not surprising. Everybody else does the same fucking thing. So
we haven't been grumpy at Sony in a while, so it was
That's
due.
right.
Yep.
It's not like they're doing anything that everybody else isn't doing.
Yeah.
But definitely still shitty. So.
Yep.
I didn't even put a timer on, because that's Chad's
I know.
thing,
I thought of it.
We've been going for a little over 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, do we want to dig into the mini games thing?
I kind of do.
Should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought of this topic today because I started 2 new games in the last week. that came out on Game Pass. One is called Spirit Tea, and I've been itching to play this game since the demo was released on Steam. I don't know, sometime either around this time last year or early this year sometime. But basically what it is, it's Stardew Valley smashed with Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. So you're like moving, it's just age-old story of moving to the country after working, dead-end job in the city to live your country life. And it turns out that there is spirits that are kind of losing their way in this village, creating havoc. You end up opening up a bathhouse for the spirits, and you're running that.
Yeah.
So that's all fun and dandy. I enjoy running the bathhouse and everything. What is driving me bonkers with this game is the mini games in it. They are so insane. Like there's three major mini games. One of them is for drinking, which is weird. Like going out to a bar and drinking.
Doing a bender. I love it.
Yes. I think it's supposed to be like the traditional way you do with sake where
that would make
the
sense.
Swirling and then pouring it in. That one, I haven't done that one myself, but I've watched clips of it. It doesn't look terrible. The fishing it feels backwards.
Okay.
So it's a screen like where an image of a fish goes in, and there's, I don't know, like 6 or 8 different circles where it shows up.
Okay.
And you have to direct the hook towards it.
Oh, okay.
But you don't move your stick towards where the thing is. You have to move it in the opposite direction, as if you're actually fishing.
So they kind of like, oh, well, you move your rod and then that's kind of annoying. Yeah.
But then there's the karaoke mini game.
Oh.
It is the worst mini game I have ever seen and tried to play in my life. I've put a clip in the doc here if I would like your reaction with this. All right.
I
don't think you'll get the full thing, but just like looking at the image of what it is.
Let me take a look here. What I'll do is I'll unplug and I'll go for the full audio, and that way they can't hear it. So we won't.
Yeah.
My laptop was a little loud. Yeah, all right. Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's what this is. I don't understand what's going on here. What?
Give it a second.
There's too many things on the screen.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Right? Is that not the craziest rhythm game you've ever seen?
I wouldn't know what to do with that.
Yeah. So it's to attempt to describe it. Maybe I'll take a still and
we'll link the
We'll
link it in the description and you can check it out if you want. There we go. I only had one ear in there for a second. That's just fucking chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, so it's another circly thing where there's the 4 cardinal directions. There's a symbol that you have to use your thumbstick to like communicate with, but then there's a thing in the middle that's supposed to be your drum beat that you have to get that in on time. And like, I don't know how you're supposed to get 2 beats at the same time and pay attention to there is just way too much going on. And anyone that can do this, kudos to you. It is insanity.
So yeah, so that strikes me. I haven't tried it myself, but just looking at it, that strikes me as someone who forgot what game they were making.
Yeah.
Because like the rest of Spirit Tea looks pretty chill for the most part.
Oh,
and
yeah, 100%.
That is like anti-chill. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So I think somebody just forgot what they were making and was like, let's throw everything in. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Looked like there was also a cooking mini game.
Oh yeah, there is the cooking mini game too. I forgot about that one. But like Spiritfarer was another game that has mini games in it too, and it has a rhythm section where you play, I guess it's a guitar,
right,
to make your plants grow. But it is done really well. It's very simple. It's very much kind of like Guitar Hero, where you're just hitting the right buttons at the right time.
Well, I assume it's a little bit like an evolved version of like the Ocarina from Zelda, where you're just like,
it's
play
just
these notes.
Yeah. You just hit the button at the right time.
Yeah.
So if you don't know Spiritfarer, it's a cozy game. It's a chill game. That is how you do a chill.
Right.
mini game in that game.
No, that karaoke mini game is just like visually, that's just fucking confusing.
Yes.
There's no sense to that whatsoever. I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan of that either. So I want to play the game more, but it's kind of making me sad.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
So Graveyard Keeper.
Yeah.
The fishing game in Graveyard Keeper, which I like, by the way. But I thought it was pushing the edge for a cozy game because like Graveyard Keeper is very chill. It's a very slow paced game. And the fishing is not. At least it doesn't have to be. Like if you get all the lures and everything, you've got a fair bit of reaction time and everything else. But if you're just going with a fairly mundane fishing pole, it's pretty. You've got to hit it at the right fucking time. And I'm kind of, this is maybe a little finicky for a cozy game.
Yeah.
Compared to the fucking karaoke, that's fucking nothing. So yeah, no, that's crazy. I've never seen anything quite like that as a mini game. That's nuts.
But then the other game that I started playing this week, I didn't realize it when I started playing it until today. It's an early access still, but it's still on Game Pass, is Coral Island.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally, if you took Stardew Valley, like the main premise of Stardew Valley, bits and pieces of Animal Crossing, and what else was in there? I don't know, it's like a mash of like all of the best parts of all of the best cozy simulation games all smashed into one.
I'm seeing this. Yeah, this is kind of cool.
That's what this game is. There's some parts where you look at it and you're like, oh, this feels like a direct ripoff, but I'm really enjoying it so far. But their fishing mini game is one of the best fishing mini games I've played.
Yeah.
Other than like Spiritfarers is very similar, and all it is like you press the button to make the meter go up until the fish starts struggling too much, and then you let it settle down. Because if you keep trying it, the line snaps. That's it. It's the easiest mini game I've ever done. And it's fantastic for it.
Yeah, Sea of Stars actually was very similar to that.
Yeah.
You had to put the hook in the right place to get the fish. But then once it was on, it was just, I mean, it had the additional, like, keep it in the right area. But otherwise, just don't snap the line.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
And I thought it was well done as well. Yeah. So, yeah, this actually looks kind of cool. Yeah, so it's Coral Island from Stairway Games.
Yes.
And it's kind of it's a mashup of all of the different farm sim / cozy games. Yeah.
I remember the other thing the one thing I noticed right away is the animation style makes me think of Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking to people, the image that pops up, super inspired by Disney art.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I might give that a little play at some point. So anyways, this got us talking about other mini games as well. So I would be remiss. You actually added this to the doc, or maybe Chad did, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the gambling game from Sea of Stars.
Oh, that was me that added that too. Yeah.
That's a sweet mini game.
Yeah, Chad loves that.
It's kind of involved. Like it's not just a throwaway thing. You can actually spend some time learning it and strategizing. I was really impressed. I'm like, I would probably buy that as a standalone mobile game.
Yeah, watching him play it, I'm like, I'm surprised this doesn't have its own standalone thing.
Yeah, they should release it. Maybe it's a copy of another game that already exists. I don't know, but I can't even remember what it's called. I want to say it's called Reels.
I don't know.
And it's hard to explain. I tried to explain it in a different podcast episode, and I think I did a bad job. So it's best to just search it. But it's cool. It's like a strategy little game with like leveling up your little guys, and it's super cool. I really liked it.
When he was playing it, initially I wasn't paying attention, and I was just heard the sounds. And I just thought it was like some sort of slot machine game.
Yeah.
And then when I actually paid attention, I'm like, oh, this is a lot more involved.
It is. Yeah. No, it's definitely pretty involved, and it's very cool. Like I said, I actually should look. I'm going to make a little note for myself. If this is a game that they took from something else, I would 100% grab that as like a casual mobile game.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say something that has been turned into a casual mobile game is Gwent, which is impressive and honestly pretty awesome because I always enjoyed it when I was playing it.
Yeah, so I was looking for some other mini games just to mostly sort of remind myself. And one of my favorite comments from somebody on Reddit was they were asking what people's favorite mini games were, and this person said, all of the rest of The Witcher when you weren't playing Gwent.
That's fair.
It's apparently I have not played it. I haven't played The Witcher and I haven't played Gwent, but apparently like people fucking love with Gwent.
Oh yeah, it's a good game. I'm surprised there's not a physical. There's got to be a physical game for Gwent.
I guarantee there is by now, even if it's a bootleg that you have to print yourself. Yeah, so apparently Gwent in The Witcher is like fucking.
Oh yeah, there's Gwent cards.
Popular.
Yep.
Well, we should get a set, and then you can teach me Gwent because I've never played the game.
It's not that hard. You'd catch on to it pretty easily. I don't think it's really not that much different than any other like strategy card game.
Yeah. Oh, I see. You can even play it just online. Oh, well, there you go. Okay, well, we'll do that remotely someday, and we'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's the actual game, and then the rest of The Witcher is just a mini game.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah. So one of the ones that I thought of pretty immediately when we were talking about mini games was well, actually, there's a few. So the first mini game that I remember was the card games and memory games in Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh.
I'm not claiming that it was the earliest one because I'm sure it was not. But like the memory game where you have to match the star and the coins. I had
completely forgotten about that.
That was one of my first, like, that's a full-on mini game that's like, and I recognize it. It's a game that I've played in other formats. So that's like the earliest one I specifically remember, unless you count like the Coin Heavens, but nah. And then the first like holy shit mini game that I remember was the Chocobos in Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. Those were like, there was so much depth to that, and the fact that you could like breed them and race them and everything else, and they actually like netted you like valuable benefits in the game, and wow, they went overboard with that. And there's been a bunch of mini games inside of the Final Fantasy series over the years, but Chocobos was the first one that I remember being like, holy shit, you could spend so much time just playing the mini game.
Yeah. I wonder if that might have been the genesis for the way we know some mini games now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that somebody who is a fan of like Japanese games, I'm going out on a limb here and saying that I think the bulk of mini games probably originated in Japan, like the earliest ones.
Yeah.
Based on the games that I know they came in, they tend to all be from Japanese manufacturers. I'm sure there's lots of people that would be like, no, you fucking idiots. Final Fantasy VII was late to the party. But for me, for us in the West, at least, I don't really remember. There were mini games, but I don't remember anything that was nearly as in-depth. Involved. Like, I can get lost in this. I mean, Commander Keen had like little, you could play Pong on your wristwatch. And there were things, but... Yeah. I don't remember anything even close to as in-depth as the Chocobo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also trying to remember time because there was a game, you remember, like I want to call them Digimon, but I don't think that's right. Those little pocket Tamagotchis.
They're back out in style.
Oh yeah, for sure. There were games that had that sort of thing in them.
Yeah, Chad, one of the ones he touches on all the time is with the Dreamcast, I think it was.
Yeah, that was especially cool with the EMU. You had like a little Tamagotchi that factored into the game. But I also know that there were pure digital versions of it. Going back a fair ways, And I don't remember the time frames, so it's possible that those were pretty early on, and
Mhm.
that's the sort of thing that I could see somebody kind of getting lost in.
Yeah.
Because people spent way too much time on them. I spent way too much time on them. I'm just gonna give a little free promotion to McDonald's. They need our help.
Yes.
McDonald's not sponsored.
But in general, do you like having mini games in your games, or?
I like mini games. If I'm gonna do a mini game, I want it to either be cute and casual,
Yep.
so that I can take it or leave it,
Mm-hmm.
or I want it to be chocobos where I can like fucking go all in on it, and it actually gets me something useful.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't give me tangible benefits. Like Sea of Stars actually, I loved that mini game because
Mm-hmm.
it was cool, but I didn't really care about it in terms of the game very much
Yeah.
because it doesn't really get you much of anything in
Mm-hmm.
the game. It's cool, um, but I don't recall getting any major benefits from it. And so for me, that if I didn't like the mini game as much as I did, I'd kind of be like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But I just love, like, it was so cool. I'm like, I want this outside of the game. I don't care about its existence in the game. This is just a cool
A
separate
separate
thing that I
game.
would love to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
Um, for the most part, if you give me something that's going to benefit me
Mm-hmm.
in some substantial way in the game, then I'll put some time into it. Or if it's just like cutesy, like while you wait for your contact, you can play Snake on your phone or something. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
I mean, who doesn't like Snake?
Exactly. Anything in between, usually I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
The Sea of Stars, the Reels is kind of an exception, just because I really liked that game. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm kind of, yeah, it's mostly I don't care that much.
Yeah, I find myself kind of in the same boat. Like, I enjoyed playing Gwent, but I didn't go out of my way to go and buy all the cards at all. I also
Right.
didn't stick around in The Witcher super long anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, in a game like World of Warcraft,
Yes.
I think they're essential
Yes.
because they give you something to do in the game that's not fucking grinding reputation.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, putting down World of Warcraft and doing something else is also an option. But having been a massive World of Warcraft player for a very long time.
I'm trying to remember what mini games are in there, because the only thing I can think of off the top of my head came in later, and it was the Plants vs. Zombies thing.
Yeah, there's the Plants vs. Zombies. I mean, fishing started as a mini game.
Oh, yeah.
They made it into so much more. But when it started, I would argue that fishing was a mini game.
I would agree. That's the ultimate easiest fishing.
Oh, it was so easy. And then it became like this whole fucking thing. And I still liked it. Like, I didn't dislike what they did with it. Mm-hmm. But when it started, it wasn't very important.
No.
I know there were some other ones. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think what came later is archaeology would probably be considered one.
I would agree.
Which,
yeah,
I'd take the fishing over. Because at least with the fishing, I can sit there and read at the same time and just have my hand positioned right, just to right click.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and then there were things that in World of Warcraft that aren't mini games, but they kind of are. Like most of the PvP stuff, like the battleground stuff, I would argue that's a mini game. I know there are people that would be like, no, that's the core game. Fuck you. But it's separate. Like, you go into this environment and you play a game where death has no consequence and everything else. And then you're done. It's like, that's a mini game.
I mean, there's literally capture the flag battlegrounds.
Right.
So,
exactly. Yeah. So, I would argue that those count, even though depending on how you play, they're a pretty core part of the game. Mm-hmm. They really are a mini game. So, and I loved Battlegrounds, at least when they were fairly new. Mm-hmm. I haven't played any World of Warcraft in a long time, so I don't know now. But I played so many Battlegrounds; they were super fun.
I liked them when I was healing.
Well, and then there was like the mini games within the mini game where you could like, you didn't have to just fight. You could like go and collect like animal
Animals.
supplies
Yep.
and stuff. And
Yep.
I don't know that that was ever very useful to the overall, because they never lasted long enough to
No.
be
But it was still
useful.
fun to do that.
But it's like, that's cute.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yep.
So yeah, I done well. And especially if they contribute to the game, like the battlegrounds are a perfect example of like, you got something for that. That there was value to doing that.
Yeah.
And fishing likewise, like even when it was still a mini game, you could still get cool stuff, and it was a thing. And but I mostly want them to be consequential. If they're not consequential, I usually kind of shit on them.
Yeah.
Unless they're just super fucking cool.
Yeah. But you have to kind of crawl through all the junk that's not consequential.
Most mini games in games, I would say I am a pretty hard pass on.
Yeah.
With the exception of like, you can play Snake on your phone or something, because I'm like, well, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
That took the developers 30 seconds and it doesn't get in my way, so fine, whatever. I know there's a few companies that have like Easter egged old games of theirs in arcade games that you can find.
That's cool.
That's stuff like that fun. Is neat. Anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. As long as it's not taking away a lot of time from the game.
Yeah. One mini game I think could probably go either way is in Horizon Forbidden West. And I don't even remember what the name of the game is called because I just did not enjoy it. But I could see how it could be enjoyable, especially in like a real world setting, or maybe if it was just focused on that. I just didn't want it in the game I was playing at the time. And it's a setting with hills, valleys, and whatnot, and you just have the different robot monsters that are in the game, and you're just, it's kind of like chess.
I was gonna say it's a little bit like Warhammer or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Warhammer. Yeah, and you're just trying to get points and clear the board, which like you could go around, you could collect the different minis and build your setup, but like it just,
that strikes me as one that like that would take a lot of effort to do, and then unless you're getting a major benefit for it, it's kind of,
and I don't think you do. I think if you end up beating all of the masters, then you get like maybe an outfit reward or an upgrade or something. That. I don't even know. I could be completely wrong. I know there's some sort of reward, but
you're probably right.
But obviously it wasn't consequential enough for me to like go and look up ways to beat everyone. So
that reminds me, it's not a mini game, but it kind of almost is. That reminds me of in Hogwarts Legacy, the house chests that you have to collect like fucking 40 of these little, and all you get is you get like a cake. A cape from it.
It's not even a good looking one.
I mean, some of the houses looks better than others, but I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's what I just sunk all that fucking time into?
It's just a boring it's not even like it like glimmers or something. Or
mine did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Or maybe it did glimmer.
Maybe it's also depending on graphic settings too. It could be. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Mine was at least shimmery. But that was like
mine was too. Yeah. I don't know. It would have been cool if like the animal moved onto the back or something.
I would have even been okay if it was like an upgraded broom or something.
Oh, that would have been better.
I was hoping for a special spell, personally.
That would have been cool too.
It would have been way cooler than a fucking cape.
God.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one of those things. Like in Final Fantasy with chocobos, like the faster your chocobo, the better your chocobo. So like that's I like that. That's good. Yeah, and then there's been so many games that try to like trump up chess or something like that and put it in the game. It's like, that was unnecessary. That's just that is wasted developer time. If I want to play chess or checkers or something, checkers is probably pretty straightforward, but like I'll just fucking play it.
Yeah.
That's why when I said like Pong or Snake or something, it's like, okay, you can write that in 5 minutes, so like that's fine. But as soon as you start trying to like add special games to your games, like, unless they're useful or
Yeah.
really fucking cool. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just skip it.
Did you ever play Red Dead Redemption at all?
I didn't, but I was reading that the card games in it are pretty cool.
Oh my god, I used to go on that game just to play blackjack.
Yeah,
it was really good. Like, there's nothing special to any of those games. They're all real world games. I think it was just the setting in itself was great.
There is something to be said for that. There are situations where something like that just blend, the atmosphere actually does lend to it. I still would probably give that one a pass, just because, like, overall, not. On the other hand, with something like Red Dead Redemption, the amount of time they spent putting blackjack in versus the overall time spent on the game is probably vanishingly small. So that's probably fine. With Sea of Stars, like, I'm gonna go back to that because the Reels game in it, like, I'm guessing it took a decent amount of time to code that, because like the graphics are not like, it's just it's complete and it's well done, and it's a rule set, and it's a whole thing with like random number generators and impact in game and everything else. I gotta figure that took a decent amount of time. And if it weren't so cool, I'd be like, that was a waste of fucking time. But it's just so cool.
I almost wonder if that was maybe something that they were, like, it was a pet project for someone, that maybe they were thinking of like a mobile app or something.
Or, that may be literally it, where somebody had, like, they had started this game and couldn't get a beat on how to release it. So they're like, fuck it, put it in the game and put it in Sea of Stars and we'll go with it. Because I could see that. In which case, if that's the case, as we have with the tradition, the CEO is always watching if we need them to be, release it as a mobile app.
I know two people that would immediately download it.
I'm pretty sure anyone that's played that would be, well, maybe not anyone, but most people that have played that would buy it for at least a few bucks. I'd spend $3 or $4 on it without.
I've never played Sea of Stars or that game, but
wouldn't even hesitate.
I'd give it a shot.
So we are actually coming up fairly close to the hour mark. What have you been playing this week?
Well, I played Spirit Tea and Coral Island.
Okay, so not. That's it.
That's it.
So Coral Island, is it multiplayer?
So I was looking through the menus this morning when I was first booted it up this morning, and they show their plan going forward, and
so it's going
to be. It's like way in the future.
Okay.
They also have a animal shelter in this game, and it's teasing me right now because they haven't implemented the adoption options yet. So there's all these animals, and if I can't adopt every single one, I'm going to be so upset.
What do you mean I can't have 8 cats? Give me a break. I've got drawers that aren't full.
Yep.
So I haven't played too much this week because I've been super busy. I bought Super Mario RPG, but it only came out today, and I haven't had time to do anything with it yet. Best game of the year, obviously, hands down. Which actually, we're going to talk about this next week because Chad wanted to talk about this. But this is another thing that pisses me off about these game awards. Because, like, Super Mario RPG just came out. And for me, it's probably going to win. Like, I would probably end up putting it pretty high.
Yeah.
It's a remake, so it's kind of, but still, I am pretty sure it's going to be my personal favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm alone in that. And so, like, having your game awards, like, nominated in fucking November, it's like, you might be missing good games. Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about the Game Awards next week when Chad is back with us. As long as not too many people order meat deliveries, of course. Otherwise, we'll have to actually get rid of them.
Please don't. I kind of like him.
But I did check out KSP2 again. Kerbal Space Program, and it's getting better.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it's getting there. That's maybe a little
too optimistic,
but it's getting better. I just hope they don't get fucked over by the Unity stuff.
Yeah,
because they decided to do it in Unity again, which I think was stupid, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they've said anything, even to now. I don't think they've said anything about Unity.
I feel like everything Unity related has been kind of quiet since all of that.
Yeah, they kind of
ducked into the shadows.
they kind of walked some stuff back and sort of oops.
Yeah, well, what did they expect?
Yeah. So I guess they're just continuing on and hopefully it'll all be fine. But if ever there was a reason to switch engines, that was it.
Yep.
So, anyways, when KSP2 becomes good, I'm gonna force you and Chad to play with me at some point because it's just the best game. Well, it should be the best game ever.
We know nothing about making things work, so we'll see how fast we can make it explode.
Yeah, we'll have a race to the moon.
There we go.
It'll be I'll go to the moon and then I'll help you too.
Sounds perfectly reasonable.
Cool. All right, well, I think that'll do it for today. Thanks so much, Chad, for all your input.
Yes, well done, sir.
Do you want to take us out?
Yeah, so thanks for joining us again this week. Please don't order meat. I like my husband. Let us know what you think of the gaming tables. Whether or not you'd want an inset table or for gaming reasons or non-gaming reasons. What are your favorite mini games that are been around, and what are your least favorites? Which ones should we look into and try playing for the first time?
Yeah, and also if there are any that started as mini games and became like mobile games.
Yeah,
I'd be interested.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
cool.
Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell 3 friends.
We love you all.
We love you, and we'll see you next week.